I think, yes, everyone is, I have had questions about that. Is the CV ATS compliant? Will it rank? Will it rate? Whatever you want to say. Will it get me through the screening? And if people aren't sure of what ATS is, it's an applicant tracking system, and not every, I don't know enough or a lot about it as in the use of it. I know that the bigger companies might use it to help with screening, but definitely if you're going to a smaller company, the only screening person is going to be the person that you send the CV to. And really what it does is it scans your CV for keywords and language as well sometimes to see, are you going to rank, or do you hit the criteria for this job to then get asked for an interview or to pass on to a person. That's really, in a nutshell, what it is. But the problem with it is that as a person who's writing your CV or you applying for jobs, you don't know what that criteria is. You just have to hope that you are hitting on most of the points that are in the job description, or that you have the experience level that they're looking for. You're never going to get, we've had posts like this before on LinkedIn where, 98% ATS score. I think I've seen 100% once.
Do I get banned if I use bad language? It's not a horse. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So I suppose this is one of the things that probably has gotten me into trouble on LinkedIn before, that you see a lot of posts, and I have worked with ATS systems, 3 different systems. 2 of them were bespoke in-house systems, and one of them was a kind of a segue from Workday. And I suppose you in terms of the LinkedIn side of it, you do see a lot of posts, kind of this ATS, or this document has a 95% score on ATS.
Yeah, download it now.
Lads, no. There's always something behind that, and something behind that is a score, is a financial transaction, basically, in 99% of the time. And that's fine, I've nothing against selling. Lorraine and I sell, that's what we do. Unless
call out false scams, basically.
Yeah.
We say,
so
it's a scam in a way to get you to engage with them, and
yeah, what this a template never got a score. A template never got somebody a job interview. It's all about the content and how that content is presented, and that content should be presented to be easy on the eye, easy to read. The relevant information is accessible by a human being and by a computer system, if that's if that's what it is, in order to kind of meet first muster. There's hundreds of ATS systems out there. One of the things that you see often is, and I suppose what these people are, the fear that they're kind of playing on is a little bit of the computer, the ATS system rejected me without a human being laying eyes on it. There's probably, I can't speak to every single situation in every single ATS system, okay? But it's very, very unlikely, unless there is what's called a knockout question. And one of the things when I was recruiting for Guinness, because of the nature of the contracts, sometimes they were kind of short-term contracts, I needed people who were qualified or who are legally entitled to work in the European Union. So one of the things that I would put onto the job description is must be legally entitled to work in the European Union, because we didn't have the time to go and support somebody who might be successful to go through a process of getting them to, get that legal entitlement to work in the European Union for the sake of a seasonal job. So in that case, if somebody applied from, outside the European Union, no matter how good they were, the chances are, they would get that's when the system would say no. But otherwise, what the system would be used for, and they can all be used in different ways. You can identify keywords. It can help you to rank applicants, and then help the hiring manager to decide which applicants they're going to call to interview. And obviously you want to be kind of higher up that list if that's the case maybe, but it's a hiring manager or recruiter, talent acquisition person who's making that call 99% of the time, provided that you have met the criteria of the knockout questions.
Yeah, it's a support tool for the recruitment team to basically go, okay, these people met the criteria set. Now I'm going to scan their CV to see, like, because people can write stuff on their CVs to try and beat the system. But the ATS, as you say, aren't the ones inviting you to the interview.
Yeah, that's it.
It's the people who are then scanning that CV who will then see, okay, yeah, I like the way that this is presented in the content or whatever. But that's the thing. And it's just really, really hard for us as writers, let's say, on the other side to go, right, because, if people are wanting to try and write their CV themselves to try and get past the ATS, always look at the job description. And I never don't copy paste the job description, but look at what specific skills they may be looking for or terminology, because you may actually have worked with that type of thing. Or if it says programs instead of plans, then change plans to programs, because it's a similar vein. It's not like you're tweaking it so much that you're lying. It's more like a plan is this and a program is very similar, but you're now using the terminology from the job description to help with ranking. So
like, I suppose when I was posting roles at Guinness, what I'd be doing is I'd be feeding in the job description into the ATS system. Next thing what will happen, people would, and in Guinness we were very, very lucky for most of my time there that we'd have, because you've got a premium brand like that, you'd have lots of applications in or whatever. So the technology kind of did come into it, like, to a certain degree. I promise you that I looked at every single CV. Sometimes my own manager would be kind of, Ger, what are you doing? And I'm like, no, let's let's look at everything on its own merits, because you might miss a great candidate for having who has not such a great CV, like, which is a real danger. So hence come see a good CV writer. But
that's a good point too, because I don't know about you, but I've seen CVs where I know from looking at it first glance that there is so much more that can be elaborated on, put in, because people are unsure, what do I put in? Now, guys, we will probably cover stuff around CV writing and like looking at formats and content and what to put in and discuss that and see, because we probably have different opinions on how to structure it and stuff, which is good. I like it. It's good. But we won't be diving into it now. But what I mean is that's where the ATS it's a buzzword in its own way as well. But how I always say it is action-orientated language. If you have action-orientated language or oriented language for, American English users, then it will actually help with ranking the ATS as well, I think.
That's it. So I suppose, like, if there was, and we're only really kind of going very top line today, because it's our first session, we're introducing ourselves and, all of that type of thing, like, but like, if I was to ask anybody to take one thing away from the little discussion that we've had about ATS, it would be, it's actually not that scary. Don't believe all you read about, this template will get you X, Y, and Z. And also, like, don't believe all you read in terms of the bots or the computer system discounting you and stuff like that, like, and just one thing. Please, if you are going down the road of writing your CV yourself, there's a little kind of trend that was going around a little while ago. What people would do is they'd copy and paste the job description into their CV, make it really, really small, and put it in white so that it wasn't visible to the negative mental stuff. Don't do that. Don't do that. That's crazy, because and the idea is that it was matching up the keywords then, like, but
How would you even do that? Because then it's using space at the bottom or whatever, isn't it?
I think you're just minimizing it to as that much, like, but like, it's a bit,
don't do that, please. Don't do that.
Don't do that, like, and I know that then we probably don't have the time to go into it today, but there's things like AI and stuff like that which can be a help with writing your CV, absolutely. But
those are some topics we'll be covering.
But what I would say to you is that a lot of companies are now deploying software as well to actually kind of have a look and make sure that, a CV that is fully dependent on AI is not going to get too far. So, that's...
that is a topic as well that we will look at, because, like, I have opinions on AI, as do you probably, Ger, on AI, and just in in general use of today's world, but also mostly with our businesses and things like that.
Yeah.
But if anyone does have if you have anything, please comment. We want interactions and engagement. We want that. That's the point of this, I think, is to encourage discussion and to challenge. Even if there's an opinion or something we're saying, like, throw in your challenge and we'll
absolutely
debate it. I'm joking.
I think Lorraine looks like she might bait you. Never mind debate you.
No, it's healthy. It's healthy. It's good because, like, this is the thing. There's so many writers out there. There's so many big businesses as well. Like myself and Jer are independent. We're the only people in our business. So, we have more dedication, we'll say, to our clients. Like, we're not just going, oh, here's one after a day or something like that. We take our time with everyone, but everybody has their own opinions is what I'm saying. So using the advice from everybody is good. And so even at that, like, so as we said, we'll be covering like AI topics around that. We'll probably touch on interviewing as well, because of your background and experience on that, I'd say.
Open to work banners.
ATS as well. We might come back to that. That would just scratch the surface. So we could go further in if we wanted, but we just wanted to kind of give a bit of a tidbit. So much around CV writing. There's so much around recruitment trends. Just so much. Yeah,
and LinkedIn, and I suppose you'll find as well on LinkedIn itself. And again, God, LinkedIn is such a, it's a great tool to help people in their business and to help people in their job search and whatever else it is. But like, there's topics that go around LinkedIn all the time. And, certain creators on LinkedIn that, sometimes they kind of, they raise interesting questions that we might agree with, disagree with. And we're certainly very much open to anybody who has an opinion to ask us about it or to share that opinion. And we'll take on it, and we can do it here, which would be great. But if you want to reach out to Lorraine or I privately as well, give us a like or a follow on LinkedIn.
Yes, do. The whole point, as I said, of this, or we said, I suppose, but I don't know, I think I introduced it, so is to just have those down-to-earth, candid conversations. We're not here to talk at you, I suppose, like, for example, with CV writing. This is how you do things. It's more, how would you write your CV, or how would you lay it out, or that type of thing. Or so then this is the structure, because we both have different viewpoints, I'd say, on it. And that's fine. And it's also client dependent. So it's not always the same. There's no one size fits all. Let's just get that out there. Is there anything else you want to say, Jer?
I think my coffee's gone cold, so that would signify that the coffee break is probably over.
Well, thermo cafe mug still warm. Oh.
Whatever.